Yo guys, what's up? Don Sensei here. In the newest episode of OverLord, we finally got introduced to the 5,000 strong goblin army. And this goblin army was conjured up by a teenage girl, a village girl who just became the chief. And this is why I love OverLord. Things like this and the progress that we saw going on through Enri's development and the way she was able to conjure up 5,000 goblins in an army is something that makes this show fucking awesome. So let's go ahead and let's talk about what happened and how this was able to be fucking done. So let's start from the beginning, how Enri was able to conjure up 5,000 goblins in an army, not just any army, one of the probably most powerful armies there is in the New World now. I mean, you can argue it from what we have seen. The path that led to this result is from the beginning, when Ainz gave Enri an item that he didn't think was very important, an item to summon weaker tier goblins, which are probably the weakest monsters there is, probably back in Intritzil. Ainz didn't think that much of it. He gave her 2 horns. Enri used her first horn to summon a troop of goblins, and the troop of goblins have been insurmountable to the village. They have helped the morale of the village. They have kept their hopes up. They have kept the village of Crane stabilized. And through all the efforts, the village girl known as Enri became the village chief. She views the goblins as more than just being summoned creatures. She looks at them as being humans. She looks at them as living sentient beings, not just monsters, what other people look at them. She's done this by simply bonding with her troops. A leader should be able to know their troops from inside and out, what makes them tick, what makes them happy, what they like and what they dislike, and their personalities. And overall, she looks at the goblins as being sentient beings, not just monsters, which is something we've never seen in the New World, especially from what she's been through. The fact is, these goblin troops are warriors. They're trained to fight, but Enri has figured out how to utilize them in much more greater ways. How to help the community of Crane Village after they suffered a great loss. Their numbers were down. A lot of them were killed in the attack. But through the help of Enri's leadership, even though she wasn't the chief at this time, she was basically the chief in a way, because without her goblins that she commanded, the Crane village would have fucking fallen already. But through the help of Enri and her way to utilize these goblins in a way that not just for battle or for war, she actually used them to help the morale of the villagers. The villagers learned how to defend themselves. Not only that, they built a wall next to the village, a wall that would somewhat stabilize how the villagers felt about being safe. The goblins were the backbone of the village during this great time of rebuilding. And throughout the other altercations that happened in the attack of Crane Village, where Enri was the commander of her troops that defended the village of Crane through other monsters, such as the attack by the trolls and the other monsters of the village, she was able to safely defend the village by just using her skill as commanding her troops. And through these altercations, she has risen her level to level 2 of commander. And this is a big thing, because level 2 in the skill class in commander is something that is rarely done, because at what age would a village girl necessarily be a leader of any community? And this girl has basically shown that she is capable of ruling or having the ability to govern a small city. Not only that, she gratefully cares for her people. She's born as a village girl. She doesn't have any arrogance of herself like what you would see with other princes or kings. And this really helps her and the way she commands her people, because her people love her. Without her even knowing it, the goblin troops already knew that Enri was a great leader. They already knew how powerful she was. Not as a person, but as a group. She can lead a group and a community. And before she was even anointed the official chief, everyone was already treating her as the chief. She was already the leader before she even knew it. So all these achievements that she had achieved were basically requirements in order to summon or conjure up a 5,000 army full of goblins. And she did this without even realizing it. Even without Ainz, he didn't know that the horn had that ability. It was a secret ability that was even hidden from him. So when she conjured up the army, she did it in order to protect Crane Village. Crane Village was being attacked by the eldest prince of the kingdom. Not only that, he brought with himself 5,000 troops to attack this small village. The kingdom was actually trying to protect the eldest prince of the kingdom, because they didn't want him in the actual war, the war they were going to ensue with Ainz. So they sent him to the Crane Village, the village that is associated with Ainz. But little did they know that they fucked up. So the prince is attacking Crane Village. They're outmanned and outnumbered. The village is getting fucked up. From the looks of it, Enri is about to lose everything. Her village, her title as chief, everyone is going to get wiped out in front of her eyes by the prince's army. At a last-ditch effort, she takes out the horn that Ainz gave her. She blows on it with desperation. In this insurmountable moment, she conjures up 5,000 goblins that create an army that can easily defeat the invading army, and they do so. This army is shown to be a magnificent army, an army that makes even Ain's jaw drop to the floor. Not because of fear, but he didn't know the horn had such abilities. He was at a loss. He probably would have kept that bitch if he knew it can do that. Because of Enri's personality, this was able to happen. Enri's personality is someone who cares for all her people. She is a normal village girl who became chief. She became chief because she is the most caring person in her village. She cares for her community, every single one of them. And she commands the goblin troops, of course. Without the goblin troops, almost any of these things would have been impossible. But the goblin troops look at her as being their true leader. Not just because of the horn, but each of them actually have great regard for their leader. They care about her a lot. They want what's best for her, her best interest. They know that she cares about the village, and they will risk their lives to protect the village. Not only that, they do odd jobs around the town. They help the morale of the villagers. And watching all of these things occur in the anime really makes me think that OverLord is such a great show, because it shows you and validates how a simple item viewed by Ainz became an essential item for the villagers. An item that would protect them and save their lives. An item that would keep them from giving up hope. Because the way Enri utilized that item, and this even showed Ainz that simple items can be developed and used in ways that he never even thought so. And that's something that is really cool to watch, because there's always room for growth. So these are the certain events in my view that led up to the events of Enri being able to summon an army that can even fight up against the strongest armies in the new world. It was because of her development, and of course because of the item that Ainz viewed as being insignificant, which it probably still is in his eyes. He could probably put up a black hole and fuck up that goblin army like nothing. But to these simple humans, this army was able to defeat an invading army led by a prince. Not only that, that army got fucking wiped out of existence by a village girl's army. And that's something that lets you know that this new world is fucking crazy, especially with the development occurring because of Ainz. Other than that, guys, like, comment, and subscribe. Let me know what other videos you would want me to do. And of course, I'm going to be making a video breaking down the goblin army and their units and what they use in battle and all that good stuff. Until next time, I'll see you guys later, and have a great day, boys or girls.